joining us today for another episode of What's Your Why Wednesday. Today, I am joined by the amazing Lori Distelcamp. She is a mortgage loan originator at EPM. Lori, thank you so much for joining us today. Well, now, Lori, a lot of us, most of us, have come into the mortgage industry by accident, but we stay in the industry because it's tied to our personal and professional why. At this moment, I would love to hear, what is your why?
Thank you. So my why has actually changed. When I started in the business back in 2005, my why was to have a career with flexibility. I had two small children. I wanted to be able to go to the Halloween party or pick them up if they were sick, and just be there, be present. And, you know, this career definitely afforded me that. But as my children have grown, they're now 20 and 22, my why has changed. So, you know, the kids are, you know, they're grown, and it's more morphed into a desire to really help people and be a source of kindness and compassion. So, you know, this world right now, it's a little crazy. Sometimes, you know, people are impatient, it's stressful. And if I can just be a source of kindness and positive energy, to me, that really makes a difference for me and hopefully for other people as well.
You know, it's interesting, as you were speaking, I was thinking about a statistic that I read a few years ago, where they asked people, what thing was like the most stressful experience you've ever had in your life? And do you know that going through the mortgage process was like number 2 in the most stress that they've ever had? And of course, for us, it's just another day at the office, right? Like we just, okay, yeah, we're going to figure that out, problem solve this, and, you know, guide them through. But for other people, you know, when you think about it, right, you're out of control because you can't control anything that's happening during that process, right? It's almost like the other stressful stuff was an illness. So think about if it's a loved one that's sick, or got, you know, what if it's our children, right? And we just want the doctor to fix whatever it is, right? Fix them, just give them a medicine, make them feel better, right? The same thing in the mortgage industry is that you feel out of control because you don't know what's happening every minute. And it's the biggest purchase of your entire life, right? So that leads me to my second question. So Lori, as you said, you got into this career because your kids were little and you wanted to be able to, you know, go to the classroom party or go on a field trip or whatever that is, right? But then over time, it morphed. Tell us, give us one of those special stories, and I'm sure you have tons of them, but give us one of those special stories where you realize the impact that you have on the world by the work that you do.
Yeah, I actually was having trouble picking one just because there's been a lot of situations where I felt that the work that as a loan officer we really can touch a lot of people. I had a client come referred to me by a realtor. She had been turned down and disappointed by other lenders. And, you know, this particular woman she had a hard life. She shared with me that she lost both her son and her mother in a short period of time. And she had kind of a troubled past, and she was working to change her life, and she wanted to buy a home for the first time. And she had to get out of a rental, and she had been turned down. So, you know, I just listened to her and told her, I'm going to help you. I'm going to guide you through this. I'm going to be there for you from start to finish. And she just cried, and she said no one spoke to her with such kindness. But it's not difficult to be kind. You know, it's just about listening. And, you know, I walked her through a plan of action to increase her credit score. I walked her through, you know, she wasn't very savvy with documents. That's okay. I helped her through that. And then, you know, when we got to closing, she was just beside herself with happiness. And, you know, she actually called me an angel. And I know I'm not an angel, obviously, but you know, I made a difference to her, and it was just about listening, empathizing, and just being there from start to finish, you know, and seeing it through. And it made a difference to her, and it also made a difference to the realtor, who just felt, you know, just, you know, he said he felt inspired by it. So yeah, that's just, you know, one example.
Well,
Yeah.
you were her angel because you were the person that took the time to listen and guide and be there for her. And you did change her life. I mean, we know that owning a home creates wealth, right? And it creates generational wealth. And there is nothing like it, right? We know that. We know that is life changing.
It really is.
And you know, so many stories. I love doing this podcast because I love hearing the stories. That's my most favorite part, right? And I hear so many times where those stories are people that didn't have any hope, people that never thought that they could own a home, people that were kicked to the side or told you're not worthy for whatever reason, whether it was not having a down payment, whether it was a credit score, whether it was a situation from a prior bankruptcy or foreclosure or whatever, right? And all of a sudden, the angels, right, come in and take the time to listen, and take the time to educate, take the time to just be there. And sometimes, I mean, I've heard stories where people have like years, they've worked with them for years trying to guide them.
Yeah.
And then finally it happens, right?
Yeah.
And that's the other reason why I love doing this, because sometimes we need a reminder. For all of you mortgage professionals out there listening to this right now, sometimes it's a tough day. Sometimes things you go, man, you know, this is a hard job. It is sometimes. But remember that impact that everyone is making, because you really are making a difference in the world. I love that. All right. Yeah. So now, Lori, you've been doing this since 2005, and you've certainly learned a thing or two. So I'd love to hear at this moment, what would be a piece of advice that you would give someone just starting out? What is something that, you know, you'd love to share with them?
Well, you know, what I did was I tried to learn as much as I could from other successful loan officers. You know, I would kind of like pick and choose the things that I thought I could do, because, you know, not everything that one loan officer does would work for me, but I kind of just picked and chose what would work for me and play to my own strengths. So I would say, you know, shadow a successful loan officer, to ask questions, you know, play to your own strengths. You know, I realized my strength was building referral source relationships. So I kind of dove into that and try to stay in front of the realtors that I wanted to work with as much as possible, you know, by joining groups like, you know, the Women's Council of Realtors, the local board of realtors, networking events, sponsoring broker open houses, volunteering, and just staying in front of people. And, you know, even when the pandemic hit, staying in front of people meant just picking up the phone and calling them. So, and then from there, you know, it's all about being competent, consistent, and just doing the best job you can consistently with honesty and integrity, and it'll all come.
I think that's great advice. And you are right. Like, how hang out with get mentors, or go with different types of people, because you're going to learn different things from those different people, right? So even if you've got that one person, go beyond that and take little things from each of them and then apply it to how you do business and how you approach things, right?
And I'm still learning.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah.
Right? We
still
all,
learning every day.
And don't be afraid to text, call, reach out. Don't drop off something at someone's office. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Someone say that it's not the right time. It's okay. Go back the next time. Send them a nice message that you're thinking about them. Wish them a wonderful day or a great weekend. I promise you that basis of kindness that you started when you started this podcast and mentioned about being kind, that never goes out of style. That will work until infinity. Just spending that kindness out there. Thank
Yeah.
you, Lori. You have been a bright light to all of us. We truly appreciate your wisdom. Keep making a difference in the world, and we wish you all the best always.
Thank you.